Hey everyone, it's MaggieBot, and I thought today would be a fun day to take a first look and review at Sentient from Renegade Games. I'll get disclosures out first. So I did pay American dollars, 55 of them, for my copy of the game. I do have some business dealings in the past with Renegade Games, but they did not ask me to do this review. And if you're looking around the internet for unbiased reviews from people who have never spoken with the people who make a game, well, good luck to you. But as far as I'm concerned, this is pretty unbiased, except I do like Alex Cavern's designs already, so take that as what you will. This is Sentient. It's a 2-4 player dice fiddling game. This is designed by Alex Cavern, who did Gold West, if you're familiar. I have liked, not loved, most of his designs in the past, and I think he's got a really good eye for clever mechanisms that fit into a good light game. So if you're looking for a 10-second bite on how this game plays, it's a really good 2-4 player game with a smart little mechanism in the middle that you can play with pretty much anyone. So let's take a quick look. So the game setup is pretty easy. You shuffle the cards and you put out a little display in the middle. Players are going to draft cards from that, score once per round, and at the end of 3 rounds you're also going to get points for how well you did, the type of cards you collected, and the type of bonuses you collected. So this is definitely a specialized where you can type game. I have found that it's difficult to specialize if players are preventing you from doing so. The components themselves are a really nice chipboard, really nice cards at kind of an odd size. They're tall like tarot cards, but kind of a weird width. But the real star of the show, and you get to roll them 3 times in the game, are the dice themselves. They're gorgeous and really well made. I had one that had a little paint bleed on it, but otherwise the dice I have are perfect. My particular copy of the game is a little crushed because I had it in my suitcase from Origins, but I think yours will fare just fine if you buy them at a store or online or whatever. The chipboard is Renegade normal, like really beautiful, like probably 1.5 to 2 millimeter, just beautiful, and there's all this crazy cool art all over it. I looked at the artist. He had done like Lotus and Covert and just big, flashy, cool stuff before. So I definitely think this art is on the rise, but even the rulebook itself is beautiful. It kind of looks like Portal on the outside to someone who's kind of art dumb, which is me. So the gameplay itself, players over the 3 rounds are going to take cards from the display and add them to their player board, and all your dice are lined up and the cards manipulate the dice as you set them down. So this card might say, well, you only get points if the one on the left is greater than the one on the right, and so you put the card down, and then in the corner of the cards they have a little plus or minus or equals, and that affects the die that you set it next to. So if this is going to +1 and equal, I need to decide if I want to manipulate those dice or not. You have 4 agents every round, and that's going to pick up your 4 cards, and you have 5 assistants. Assistants can either help your agents to gain bonuses, or they can be placed on the cards you choose to prevent the dice from being changed. So if I put an agent on the left side of the die, maybe I don't want to plus that one, but on the right I do want to minus it. So everybody's going to go around and pick up their 4 cards. At any point in the round you may choose the once per round, flush out the robots and kind of pass, but you'll still get 4 cards every round. So at the end of the game you're going to have 12 cards to look at for scoring. So what's the deal? This game is, I would say, for someone like me who tends to play the bigger, heavier stuff, this game is like a warm-up or a cool-down at the end of a night. It's probably an hour long, plays just as well at 2 that it does at 4, so we could just bust this out in between other things. As a real meal for a whole game night, I would say if you're trying to find something after the kids go to bed, or you want something over even like a long lunch break, this would probably work really well. The gameplay is fun. It's not too heavy, but there's plenty to think about. There was only one point in the game that I didn't really care for, and that was the turn order. So each player gets to, once per round, instead of taking a card for that second, they can flush out their robots, and that passing order becomes the anti-player order for the following round. So if I don't have any good options and I have to flush the robots, I go last in the next round. My guess is that if you were to opposite that, like if I was first to pass, I got first initiative in the next round, it would be too strong. But I did feel like it was a little harsh if the luck just didn't come up your way and you had nothing really good to do, because you do flush out those robots and then everybody else at the table has a chance to pick at them before you get to. I think I would have liked it that on the turn you passed and flushed out the card display, you still got to choose and place your agent to get a card that round. That way, even though I'm going last in initiative for the next round, I didn't have to watch as anywhere from 1 to 3 other players got to pick at the new cards before I did, because I was already having luck problems. Overall, a really fun game. I quite enjoyed it, and I think everyone else will too. It's really quite beautiful. So the main complaint I had from my game group was that the game is very abstract, and the art and other kind of fluffery around it were almost a little distracting. And so I would agree that it feels like an abstract that has a theme on it. That's not a problem for me, but it is a problem for people I know. Perhaps if the things had stories or something, like they all have names and everything kind of has the theme on it, and the art is, like I said, just beautiful, but I don't feel the theme in the gameplay. So that was Sentient from Renegade Games. It's a $55 MSRP. It should be out fully very, very soon. They did kind of a preview at Origins with their first copies. Even better, they oh man, so they got their copies on the Tuesday of Origins, and they opened them up and they discovered they were missing a whole punch board, like an entire punch board from all 250 copies. So they had to have all 250 copies, needed an extra punch board air shipped to the con. So I picked mine up on Friday by the time they had these extra things. I feel a little bit bad. That probably was very expensive, but it was either don't sell any copies or pay a stupid amount to get these boards overnighted. I'm glad that they did, and I hope you all are checking this out, because Alex Gaverne really is doing some interesting design work. That's all for me for now. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the stuff below, and I will talk with you next time. Bye!